Okay, Calvin Castine on October 2nd, 2017. I'm not sure if Judy's got me in the picture or not. I'm trying to keep the sun out of my eyes. It's a bright, beautiful Monday morning, a perfect day to go golfing. So since I've never gone golfing before in my life, I thought it'd be a good time to start. And who better to start with than a couple of experts on golfing. We're at the North Country Golf Club on what's often called the Golf Course Road, but has never had that name. Neither one. Both of these roads, the intersection here, both get called the Golf Course Road once in a while, but the Prospect Hill Road and just the Hayford?
Correct.
Hayford Road.
Mm-hmm.
And we have seating with us. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Dustin Beauregard. I'm currently the manager at North Country Golf Club.
And the old guy?
And yeah, old guy. I'm John Zurlo, and I've been a member here for 55 years.
55 years.
Yep.
And you,
So I'm at-
and you still didn't
so
join
you
as
know
a
I-
child. And
you
still
know I'm
didn't
an
join
old
as a
guy.
child. So that was, let's see, I'm going to do my math, 62.
Yeah, I got out of college in 1960 and joined shortly after. And here we are, 2017, 55, 56 years. Yeah,
Time marches on.
it does.
It sure does.
Okay, we're here because I'm going to do a little just brief history of the golf club. And this past weekend I was doing a North Country Honor Flight, and a fellow I know, John Ryan, who worked up at the border here with Bob Ben, and has a little Facebook thing he calls the Peru Gazette, and he's always out gathering news of the Peru area, in and around the Peru area. And he was telling me that the golf club in Ausable Forest, wherever the
It's
golf
Mm.
closing up.
is closing.
Yeah.
It's
That's
gone.
by the way, that's my wife's first cousin,
Mm.
Bill Hickey. Bill and his brother Jim, but
Mhm.
Bill is the owner.
Of the golf club?
Yes, he worked for NYSEG for years and years, and had the golf course on the side, and it was served a good purpose there in Ausable, and but apparently with the economic downturns and first thing that people kind of give up is recreation, and bowling alley
which
here,
they
and
should.
golf course here. So
Things that aren't necessities, food, clothes, shelter,
That's
those.
right.
yeah. So I was sad to hear that this morning.
Yeah, so it's a sign of the times. We drive down Route 11 and we see a lot of for sale signs on
Mhm.
businesses that were once flourishing. and-
That's
and
absolutely
that's right here in our own hometown.
Yeah.
Dustin, you've been manager here how long?
Since 2001.
That's quite a stretch.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It is.
16 years,
Yeah. Yes, well aware. Yeah, it's been a great experience here. A lot of wonderful people, and very very blessed and happy that I had the opportunity thus far.
Okay, now you're called the manager.
Yep.
Does the club have a pro?
I work as a club pro in addition to being club manager.
Okay.
And,
He is PGA sanctioned.
Well, I was at one time, but as it became clear that the club needed more of a manager than a PGA pro, which generally does lessons and sells clubs of that nature, then I joined the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, and I've been with them for 10 years now, and it's been a very helpful organization to help us manage this club.
Oh, sure, you get
Yeah.
ideas and you
Absolutely.
people that have the same problems you
That's
do,
right.
and people that
Yeah.
had problems that you might say, oh,
Yeah.
before we have that
That's
problem,
right.
we're gonna address that. And just talking PGA here,
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah.
as I said, I'm not a golf person,
Sure.
but a guy named Derek Sprague.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, John, when you and I were younger, there was a basketball player out of Essex County named Derek Sprague.
That's correct. Different family.
Different family. Okay.
This Derek grew up in Malone. I knew his father very well. His father used to come to my office at Northeastern Clinton when I was teaching there, and he worked for the federal government, and he was an investigator. And if a child put down a reference name, and a lot of students from Northeastern would use my name, so he would come and investigate and ask if I knew these children, and they were looking for an advanced position in the military, maybe in the Navy or the Army or Air Force or whatever. And Gary, his name was Gary Sprague, and we'd sit down and talk, and we became close friends. And Derek graduated the same year that my oldest son did, and they played golf against each other on several occasions, and they used to meet every year at Cornell at the state high school championship. And Gary would be there with his son Derek, and Derek went on to school in Virginia, I think somewhere near Washington. Came back and ran at Malone Golf Course. Got very, very interested in golf, followed it closely, rose to the ranks of president of the PGA. And this past weekend we had the President's Cup at the Liberty National Golf Course in Jersey City, New Jersey. That's where Derek is now the manager. And he is doing very, very well financially, as well as promoting golf at Liberty National.
Yeah, I imagine any young golfer envisioning themselves becoming president of the PGA.
Yep.
That'd be quite a...
It's an amazing feat to think that a local man was able to do that.
Yeah.
And he's done so much for golf in our area. It's really immeasurable.
Yep. He had a nice interview on national TV during the President's Cup this past weekend, and I happened to see it. And he was PGA last year, president last year. Now he's an honorary president, they call him this year. And he spoke very well and did a nice job. Great young man.
Yeah, that's great that somebody, even though it's way off there in Malone,
Sure.
still consider it our area.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now this golf club, we're here in 2017, and looking through my Champlain 2000 book that was put out in 2002 actually instead of 2000, but I always run a little behind. It said 1934, a guy named Andy Weston,
Yes.
and I'm familiar with the name Andy Weston because of the bridge that was built by Mr. Weston,
Mhm.
the first bridge across the Lake Champlain
Rouse's
up
Point,
this way.
yep.
But he donated some property here to the town, with the idea, according to that article, that it would be used as a golf club, and if it ever ceased to be used as a golf club, it'd go back to the Weston family. So that was 17 years away from being, that's 83 years ago. 17 years away from being 100 years ago.
That's right, because
right.
we had our 80th anniversary last year.
Right.
So it's about right, 83 years ago.
Well, I think Dustin was giving some stuff. You show 36, but I guess the land, this process started in 34.
That's
apparently.
correct. Yeah.
That's
Donated to the town in 34, and then in 36 they developed the corporation and the members and the board of directors and whatnot.
All right, so is that as far into history as we want to go?
We can go as deep as you want to go.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
just- no.
there's so much history with this place. You could talk about it forever, really. And I think that's what I've enjoyed most about being here is the history of this place and golf in general, meeting the different people and meeting their grandchildren and just how it's come down the line for so many years and years. And this place is just a very special place for the community, Clinton County. To be in the golf industry for over 80 years is a true accomplishment, and it's a testament to the people who have run it since the beginning. And over the years, they've always had a great group of people who have taken the club's best interest at heart and kept it afloat, and here we are today.
Now the club is a non-profit entity,
Correct.
Yes.
so it's not a charity, but it's a non-profit.
Right.
Which is,
Right.
it can be a charity,
Mhm.
but obviously a golf
Mhm.
club isn't
Mhm.
a charity like
Right.
Another
The
name
Red
you might
Cross
be
would be.
interested in would be the Powers name.
Mm-hmm.
Walt wasn't the first pro here, but was shortly after.
I think in 42 was a
43. Yeah. 43. Yep.
I know
So
you
that's a
correct me
local
on that.
name, Powers family. And that's, let's see, the only Powers I think left in town would be
Kitty.
Clifford Ashline's wife, Kitty, right. But their mom and dad, lovely people, and Walt, I can remember, knew my father very, very well. My father always claims, bought my first set of golf clubs from Walt Powers right here at North Country Golf Club.
So is he still the club manager pro when you got in 63, 62?
No, he was. It was tail end. It was tail end. I remember because we had the old building right over there that was destroyed by fire, and he was pro in that building, and it was a tail end. He was here for a few years in the 60s. I can't recall exactly when, but do you have that down at all?
Do. Until 1960, actually.
Yeah.
43 to 1960.
Yeah. So I remember the tail end of his career, and then they had managers and committees that ran the golf course at that time, and but it's come a long way in my 50 plus years. They used to take the mowing machines and be like a farmer harvesting his hay or whatever. They just mowed everything the same cut and didn't fertilize very much. And now this course is probably the most beautiful setting that you would ever see in the North Country as far as golf courses is concerned. Now it's carved out beautifully. Where you hit your tee shot, you better hit it in this little landing area, which is mowed to a certain level, and to the left and right of that landing area, a little higher. Then the rough's a little higher. And I played a week ago, was the last time I played, and it was with a good friend of mine, Jack Dawson. And we remarked how beautiful the course was and what condition it was in. Even the trees, everything clipped so wonderfully well. And of course, that's a tribute to Dustin and his superintendent, Rainey Ancto, who does a great job here. But yeah, it's come a long way in 50 years that I remember.
Yeah, the railing here is kind of preventing Judy from taking a good scan here. So when we get done talking,
Sure.
we'll take a scan of the golf course. And it's, just sitting here, you don't have to be a golfer to enjoy this view. It's just
Absolutely, absolutely.
So when Judy and I pulled in, the little parking lot area here was full, and we had to drive around, go back on the road to find a place to park. But chances are all those folks are club members.
A lot of club
And
members here today.
So if a club member shows up, they've already paid.
They paid, yeah.
So all these club members that show up today, a golf club isn't making any more money. That's it.
Well, they paid ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's been a wonderful fall, and
Yes.
we've seen a lot of guest play, almost double last year. So it's been really nice this fall to have that much play.
Yeah, here we are, October 2nd. I'm out here with the jacket on. It's just an incredible day, and it's supposed to get warmer during the week. Last week we had 3 or 4 days of a heat wave and
That's right, in
90
the
degree
90s.
temperature.
That's right.
So it's been an incredible fall, and what we get, we can't have it taken away from us later, can
That's
we?
correct.
We've already had it. But in talking to Norm Bono, he was telling me that even though you got this beautiful spot and you're getting a lot of activity from your members, that you're not in a situation that where Ausable had to go out of business, but you do have some concerns, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, you know that our area has been hit economically. We lost Sheridan years back. Sheridan had leagues here.
30 years ago.
We lost Wyeth. Wyeth had leagues here. Sheridan employed 800 people. Wyeth employed, on the top of their scale, 1,800 people. That's 2,600 jobs, Calvin. 2,600 jobs plus the other little jobs that we lost.
Well,
You can say we lost near 3,000 jobs in this little community.
Well, every one of those, 100 people at work created another job or two from
Absolutely.
businesses and so on.
Absolutely, and every job. I mean, how many family residents can be attributed to that one job? 3 or 4, and these people all left. They had to find employment someplace. We lost a lot of people here.
Or even if they're still here, they're not making at
They're
the
not
level.
making the level they were making at Wyeth or Sheridan or whatever. And they, as I said previously, first thing you give up is the recreation part of your life. So the bowling alley left, the leagues left. If you don't have the leagues, Sheridan had leagues here, Wyeth had leagues here, the Knights of Columbus had a league here, and that's dwindling as well. And the Elks Club had a league here, that's dwindling. We're trying to build that back up, and we have this past summer. But there are a lot of leagues that have left the North Country Golf Club because of the economic situation. Not only did we lose economically with the 2 big plants in our area, but we lost a lot of customers A lot of members because of the Canadian dollar. You know, when they, as you remember, several years ago, that rate was 40%. So they had to pay 40% more plus sales tax when they come here. So they were paying 50 cents on the dollar more than the American dollar. So we lost a lot of customers. We lost over.
Well, just a
100.
little insight on in 2014, we had over 75 Canadian members, and today we have 7. 7.
Yeah.
75 to 7.
Yeah,
That's
and just under 3 years' time, and it was all due to crossing the border delay and the exchange, and we're doing our best to try to get them back. But one thing is for certain, we need them back if we're going to sustain here. In 2008, we had almost 400 full-time members, and today we have about 249 full-time members, 250 full-time members.
we've lost over
That's a sharp
150.
decline, yeah,
Yeah,
in just under 10 years.
Yeah.
So we were a
And-
victim. That's 75. That's 75 members that he's talking about. It's $75,000
It's $1,000 for
roughly.
roughly.
Yeah,
So yeah, that
That
cuts a
cuts
hole
it.
in anybody's budget.
Absolutely.
Except for John.
absolutely. Yeah,
But you and I, Dustin, we
Exactly,
can
exactly.
relate to that. Yeah.
it's a big hole in my budget.
But I mean, I think we recognize the fact that we need to do something to stop the membership decline. That's been our biggest downfall. That's hurt us the most, and we're doing everything we can to try to get the Canadians back, plus promote and southern, south of here, Plattsburgh, and west, and then east in Vermont, because throughout the year we've had, this year especially, the most favorable comments about our club since I've been here that I've ever heard. And like John said earlier, it's a testament to the staff, Rainey, Anktil, and his staff. What they do with this place, with what they have to work with, is a true feat. And for someone who's been working at a golf course since he was 15 years old, I'm now 41, I've never seen anything like it. And it's fun to come to work and work with people like that and to see what they can do to make this place so nice. And it's I can't say enough about that.
Well, you can't look out there and not realize that the people who are the groundskeepers here have pride in what they're doing.
There's no
Absolutely.
question about it.
A lot of pride.
No question.
Now, is the golfing? I know, like we mentioned, the bowling alley is closed here, unfortunately, and they struggled for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got one bowling alley in the area, North Bowl, and it seems to be doing pretty good. We did a story with them this past winter, and they seem to be doing good. But bowling has certainly declined over the
Sure.
years.
Absolutely.
As golfing, I go around now and I see a lot of kids. I don't know if you can see my thumbs here, but I see a lot of the kids doing this.
I think there's no question about it that you can find it pretty easily anywhere that golf as a sport has been in a serious decline. As we sit here today, there's more courses closing than opening.
Really?
And that's troubling because especially when a lot of these courses are in very high populated areas, not like ours, and you just wonder what's coming down the line. But I think we're different. We have a lot of history here, and there's so many memories here that this place can't just get let go.
Well, I'm sure this is an asset to anybody that's looking to get somebody to move up here, up this way, if they're
There's no
if they
question
want to
about it.
relocate.
Sure.
There's no question about
Absolutely.
it.
You bring them here and say, "Here's what we've got."
Mm-hmm.
They say, "Wow,"
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
They look for a good school, look for a good hospital, look for good recreation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're providing here. And I might also throw in that this golf course lends itself to fundraising to a lot of organizations in our area. I have a list here. Champlain Fire Department has been having their tournament here for 11 consecutive years, and they roughly make about $3,500 a year toward their coffers. The Knights of Columbus have run a tournament here for 23 years. John McGoldrick tournament, they do that in memory of the child that was killed. That goes to scholarships at NCCS. Beacon Heights, they have a tournament 17 years. Proceeds go to a different charity every year. Border Patrol, 10 years. North Country Youth Hockey, Shazy Youth Hockey. Jennifer Welch tournament, high school scholarships there again. Beekman Town Ladies Hockey Program, North Country Cancer, Champlain Shazy Lions Club. And I was very closely associated with the Carol Wallet Hospice Tournament. That was run 13 or 14 years. You won't believe what I'm about to tell you, but that tournament raised almost $500,000 over the years, all donated to hospice. And it was all done right here at this golf course. It was hard work. It wasn't only the day of golf. They raised money throughout the year, but the committee did that, and the final analysis, the final day was right here at the golf course.
Yeah, well, I should point out that Carol Wallet was my first cousin. Carol Bayshard, she grew up in Kings Bay area.
Right, and the reason that happened was that when Carol, when she was working, she was the assistant to the county administrator, and then became the county personnel director, and she passed away with cancer. And Bob and the county wanted to do something for her and in memory of her, and that's how that tournament began. And it ran for a lot of years until it just got such difficulty in organizing that big tournament. People were finding it difficulty to participate, and hospice was starting to run their own fundraising, so that tournament has ended. But $500,000, that's no joke.
And of course, Bob was a local boy too. Grew up in Rouse's Point
Absolutely, yeah.
on Maple Street.
Yeah. And the high school, Northeastern Clinton, they have a high school hockey program. Yes, they do. And it's nice that we have the rec center where they can just go to Rouse's Point. And it's nice that their golf team can just come here rather than go to Plattsburgh. The bowling team now, apparently they're going to have to go to Plattsburgh to participate.
They did all last year.
Yeah.
They did last year.
So it's very important that this remains open. So what we're doing is creating this huge fund drive, hoping that our members will contribute to the fund drive, as well as anybody else in the community that would like to contribute anything from $10 to $100 to whatever they think they can handle. Even the members, whatever they think they can handle, it's going to go toward keeping this operation going. We have a lot of current debt that has to be paid off. It's debt that we've paid off with memberships from the previous year, carrying over, and then we have no money to operate the next year. So if we get $100,000, we can pay off all current debt, and we can see this operation run forward for many years. And there will be, I know there's rumors about the golf course closing. Not so. This golf course will not close. It's just going to, I know that the members will pick up and help the situation and come forward and keep this operation going, because as Dustin said a moment ago, people love this place. I mean, it's just a big asset to the community. So we think we can do it. We're almost halfway there now. Okay. And we haven't even started. That's why we're talking to you today, Calvin, is to try to get the word out and get the message out that the golf course is not closing. It's going to go on, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. The board of directors, you mentioned Norm Bono earlier. Norm Bono kind of oversees the books. Being a former accounting teacher and tax expert, oversees that portion of the operation here, and we're bare bones. So when you talk about a bare bones budget, this golf course here, how many people did we used to have that cared for the course, and now we have how many? We're down to what?
We've cut the staff in half. We're at 4 now, so we used to be at 8.
Well, you mentioned you had,
Yep.
we just rounded off 400 members. Yep. Down to
150,
155.
Yeah.
So that's 250 at roughly $1,000 each. That's $250,000.
That's
absolutely.
Correct.
Now that's the type that will start impacting his budget.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
85 just won't do it, but the
That's right.
250
Yes.
will start impacting John's budget.
You
So,
bet.
so I noticed you're trying to wave to Mr. Bono back there, who's joined us but doesn't necessarily want to be on camera. So we're going to take a short pause here, so we can get this, so we can see what direction we're going to take right now.
Sounds
Okay,
great.
you bet.
Judy says the camera's rolling, and I just Want to sit here all day and look at the sunshine and the golf course. Now, we were just talking off camera here, and it was a rainy summer this year. Last year, 2016, it was dry and
Yes.
maybe a little challenging. You had to run your water a little more on the greens than you probably would have. But this year you didn't have that problem.
That's correct.
So it must have been perfect, all that nice rain.
Yeah. It was more like a nightmare.
A nightmare.
It was truly challenging this year, especially for the grounds crew to get the things done that they needed to get done. And of course, when it's raining, there's no revenue coming in either. So that,
So you're not allowed to play in the rain, or people
absolutely.
You can?
You're absolutely allowed to play in the rain.
But most people.
Most
it's
people do
lightning.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull you off if it's
Yeah.
lightning.
Yeah. But this year, we lost about 54 days because of the weather. And when you have a season that we plan our season on about 150 days. So when you lose 1/3 of, it's tough. And but everyone had to deal with it. It's not just us,
Yeah.
but we have to reiterate, we're such a weather dependent business that if every year was like 2016, there would be no issues whatsoever.
'Cause you
Yeah,
had-
and if you lose 30 days of rain, as he said, then who wants to play the next day or the following 2 days?
Because
You're
it's-
going
yeah,
to play with
still-
your rubbers on. So it's 50, 60 days of prime golf season.
just mowing our lawn. We'd go out.
Absolutely.
We can't run the lawnmower today. It hasn't
right.
soaked through
Exactly.
yet.
Yeah.
So it's a now. So people who were members lost those days.
Correct.
Uh,
It hurts on both sides.
Yeah. So, what does it cost here for now? If a member shows up, if they want a golf cart, they have to
Yep.
pay extra for that. They don't
Yep.
want a golf cart. They want to carry their bag.
That's correct.
Do you have caddies?
We have no caddies.
No
We haven't
caddies.
well, if you want to consider the
I
golf
d-
carts caddies.
I don't mean Cadillacs.
Yeah. We have 45 golf cars in our fleet. That handles our membership and our regular play pretty easily. Members have the option of paying, walking, like you said, paying as they go for a cart, or they can pay for a yearly cart, which many do. So you want them to be able to get as much play as possible so they can really value their membership
Right,
and keep them
justify it.
returning and
Right.
justify it, correct. So when it rains, not only are you not getting the outside play which you need, but your members aren't getting the play that they deserve for already paying. And so it hurts on both sides, for sure.
So, you have guests who come with members, and you might have people who show up and don't
Mhm.
have any ties at all.
That's correct.
Now, if I'm a member and I show up with a guest, does that
Yep.
guest pay the same as if somebody else shows up who's not with a guest?
No, if you come with a member, you automatically get the member discount, which is the best rate of the day. So if you come with a member, it's a huge incentive to play because you get the best discount that we offer at the club when you come with a member.
Okay, but if just
Yep.
4 other people just show up and
They pay the regular daily rate, which we try to keep in line with all the other clubs to keep
Well, yeah,
people
you're
coming. Yeah,
whether we want to admit it or not,
sure.
you're competing, and you've got a golf club that's not too far away, just north of the border, right on
That's
the border,
correct.
in fact.
That's
Absolutely.
correct. Club 2000 is right
That way,
across, and
right that way.
they're a direct competitor with us. And so is in Hemingford, and Hemingford Golf Club, and the clubs, Plattsburgh, the Barracks, Bluff Point, Adirondack, they all
Port
receive
Kent?
much. Port Kent is definitely, they've done a tremendous job getting their club back to really nice conditions, and that gets a lot of play. So there's plenty of options to play in this area for sure.
Okay, so at what point is the member who golfs a lot making money by having that membership? How many times do they have to show up?
We figure that if you play at least 40 times, it's going to be well worth it for you, and that's how we try to create our rates based on a 40-round season.
So that's roughly a quarter
Yep,
of the
yep.
of the
Right,
time that
Yep.
you consider your season. But
correct.
like right now, we're in October. You probably don't consider this to be your normal season.
No,
So
no,
this is bonus.
Nope.
So that's
that's right. All of our members are entered into, they enter their scores into a handicap system, which also counts their rounds. And at this time last year, we had 10 members that had played over 100 times based on the scores that they input in the computer. And this year, we don't even have any members who have posted 80 rounds.
Really?
So it just shows you how bad the weather really hurt us this year, member play and regular play. So those are numbers you want to always see high.
Sure.
You want them to be able to play enough so that they, like you said earlier, justify the membership and keep coming back year after year. I think that we're fortunate where the grounds are kept so well that even if you're not able to justify it, that you still enjoy coming here so much that you do. And most of our members do that, and we're very fortunate to have them. Very, very fortunate.
Now, when you come here, I know Joey Trombley and I were here earlier this year and talked to the folks at Sandy's Deli. They call their restaurant here Sandy's on the Green.
Correct.
So you've got a place that people can have a good quality meal, because Sandy's has always put out a
Absolutely.
nice meal.
Yeah.
Are they open on a regular basis?
They're open every day.
Every day?
And it's been a huge compliment to the golf course to have them here. It's for people to be able to rely on them being open the hours they say they're going to be, which they do religiously, has been a tremendous asset to the golf club to have them here, for sure.
Now, I think John earlier mentioned that you had a banquet or something here.
Yes.
Is this open as a banquet facility? And if that does happen, does the golf club make some money? Obviously, if Sandy's is catering it, they're making money, but would that help the golf club?
It always, anything that happens here always helps the golf club. The arrangement that we have with them is a great business partnership, and thus far, we hope that they, want to come back year after year, because it's been a tremendous help for us to have them here, and they do a wonderful job. So it's been a really good partnership.
I know a couple of years ago there was the classes of the 60s at Champlain Central and St. Mary's got together and had a little thing here, and some bands that hadn't played together for a while got together and played, and so you're open to any type of thing that people want to talk to. So just check the date. And
for sure.
How late would you envision seeing the clubhouse being available?
Well, in recent years it's been at least until Halloween, and then in the off season, anything that's a major size or something, they'll definitely look into hosting it, but it's got to be a certain size, because the expenses of opening this up in the winter are tremendous, and so it's, if you can't make money, it's just not worth it doing it. So
I had several of my county clerk department Christmas parties here, and that was early December.
Yeah.
And we made out just fine. Dustin got it warmed up for us, and cooked the prime rib, and we were all set. We had a great time. We did this several years in a row.
Several years, yeah.
Until I think now they close earlier, so we had to make different arrangements.
It's a versatile facility. There's Zumba classes here and exercising classes here as well on occasion. Bridge club plays every week, a couple times a week, and it's just a great place. There's so many things that go on here. There's as many things that go on inside as outside, so it's just a great place.
Yeah, it's become a kind of a central place where people meet for various functions. I just mentioned 4 or 5 of them, but every time I come to play golf, there's some group in there meeting, so it serves the community a great purpose.
Now, you'd mentioned you're in the middle of a fundraiser, and you're approximately halfway to that goal at this point. And John, you also mentioned the hockey rink in Rouse's Point, and for the people who may remember when that was going on, you were the chief spark plug in that.
Chief organizer.
But back then, you asked people to sign up because you had to get the equipment out of Massachusetts, as I recall, the ice making equipment, and they put their name on there, and if you got the bill paid off, it didn't cost them anything, and it turned out it didn't cost all these people, but they were backing the note.
Yes.
But in this case here, so people remember that this isn't the case here. You're asking people to come up with the money and make a donation.
This is the case because we can't pay them back. We need this money to bring us to a financial position where we can move forward and not have to pay this back. when the rec center was built, we went to the bank, and I'll mention the bank, it was National Commercial Bank, Key Bank now, they were so great to us. They had area residents sign promissory notes. And the original deal was 75 promissory notes. When we, before we got the rink back, we had to go back to the bank and borrow some more, so we owed 125,000. Was on a 10-year program, and we paid them back in 8 years, and then turned the youth hockey owned the facility, and the ice anyway,
making.
because the village owned the rink, the building, and we turned it over to the village, and that's still running very, very successfully. But in this situation, yeah, it's not like you sign the note, and if it caves in, then you have to pay. No, we knew that when we did the rec center that was going to work, and here we just need to. We don't want to tell people, look, contribute and then have to pay. This is an out and out gift that they're going to give to the golf course, so that we can get back to square one, pay our current debt off, and then be able to move forward nicely.
Yeah.
But we got these debts that have been bothering us for years and years and years. Local people, we owe them money. It's not right. People, employees have loaned us money. It's not right. We've got to pay them off. We've got to pay them back.
Don't hit that table.
That's right. I was told that. I was told that before when we started. I don't think it came. I don't think Judy heard that. But that's the situation. Yeah, this is a huge fundraising program that we're initiating, hoping that the community will get involved, the members will get involved. Do whatever you can. And as we said, our plan is to raise $100,000. We've got half of that raised already. We haven't even gone to the public yet. We haven't even made this known. This is the first public venture we've had talking with you regarding this program, and it's only been in business for what, three weeks, 2 weeks? When was the annual meeting? 2 weeks?
10 days ago, right?
10
now?
days ago.
10
2 weeks
days
ago.
yeah.
2 weeks ago, we've raised $50,000. So and people are coming aboard now like crazy. So I hope more people will consider it. You don't have to give $1,000. They say a foursome that played all summer long, so they give $250 a piece, and there's $1,000. The foursome can contribute their $1,000. We're going to have a big board set up here for $1,000 donors, $500 donors, or whatever you want to contribute, and we'll welcome any contribution at all.
I can compare it to, I've been involved in several publications, and we'd sell an ad.
Mm-hmm.
You pay a full page ad, you get the full page.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy half a page, you could buy a quarter page, you could buy a smaller section, and it's the same type of thing here.
Sure.
If you can afford that 1,000,
Yeah.
and or you can afford 5 of those thousands,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can do that.
Exactly.
And so I imagine you'll have the 1,000, but you'll also have a category above that for the people who go above and beyond the 1,000. Norm's whispering my wife's ear up there. I don't know if I should be concerned or not.
Got some information there.
But so they'll also have a category for the ones who give more than 1,000. Also, I would assume. And if they want to do it anonymously, I know somebody said that there was somebody who donated anonymously, and we need to take a break. So I'm going to stop talking. When Judy says stop, I stop. We had late breaking news, so we had to stop here. While we were chatting here, Norm said that a couple of people have come up and have made $1,000 donations.
Yes.
So we've got, as I see it, a couple of things that people sitting here watching this might be concerned about. One is, well, if you hit the 100,000, is that it? Or could you actually use 100? From what Norm told me last week, you wouldn't have trouble spending 110 or 120.
Absolutely not. There are still bills. I said that there are current debts that have to be paid. We have some long-term debts that have to be paid too. We have some bank notes and things. So the $100,000 is just going to clear the table for us. But certainly, if we go over, there's other long-term debts that can be paid too, and that will go towards some of those obligations. But 100,000 will just clear the table so that we know that we can see ourselves clear for many years to go. We just got, and the way the golf course is run now. Plus, let me throw this in. I've heard rumors, oh, the golf course, they give things away and they get free drinks. Well, number one is, if there's free drinks, it's not given by the golf course because we lease the bar and the restaurant out. Other one, oh, free golf. There's passes that people give passes. Yes, there are passes, but they're $30 a piece. If members want to buy passes, they do get a little deal at Christmas time when the dues are due. Within your membership application, you can buy, I think, 10 of those at $30 a piece, and I think they'll throw in 12. Is that right, Dustin?
Throw in 2, so you
Throw
get
in
12.
2,
Yeah.
so you'll get 12, two for nothing for the members. But there's no freebies here. Whatever activity you are involved in, either eating or playing golf, you're paying. You're paying the retail going rate. There's no, and I heard this from several people. Oh, you have giveaways. Not true at all.
Well, sometimes if you have a tournament, there are
Sure,
giveaways in
sure.
there that are part of the
Oh,
tournament.
that's
Sure,
true. And my
sure.
wife mentioned to me the other day, she says, and I mentioned this, free drinks. Somebody gets free drinks. Well, Mary said that on her ladies' league final day, they pay the Sandy's Deli so much money per person, and that included a drink. So yeah, there was a free drink that they didn't, but it was in the
Prepaid.
fee. It was
Right.
prepaid. There was nothing given away. There's no freebies here.
I think it's important to point out too that there used to be a long-standing tradition where board members would receive their compensation for
Right.
management duties would be free membership.
Yeah.
That is no longer, and that hasn't been that way for several years. So I think what you have is you've got a lot of people on this, the people on the board. I mean, they truly care about the club if they're willing to donate their services, and time, and still pay their full membership rate. I think that's a clear sign that you have people on there that really care.
How big is your board?
It's 7 people. 7 people.
Now, when you have a meeting, the general, all members can show up.
Sure.
No,
sure,
absolutely.
Sure. Yep. And we have our annual meeting every year where you go over elections and things of that nature.
And we had about 70 people that showed up for that meeting this year.
Which turned out good because
Yeah.
that's when you started the
Sure.
Correct.
Sure.
this
Sure.
fund drive here. So people can give 25 or 1,000
Anything
or
that they
I know
feel they can
off,
do.
I'm talking to Norm. There's one family that stepped up and sounds like they're giving about $8,000. So it doesn't have to be. Don't feel you have to stop at 1,000 if you can afford more.
Absolutely.
So we are sincerely grateful for anything, and we're hoping that the people that love this place as much as we do will contribute.
And it's this again. I'm not a golfer. I've walked the course a couple times in covering golf for some high
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
And I did it one time, and I used to work for Woodman of the World, and my area manager was up here, or state manager was up here, and I carried his clubs for him. I had no interest in golfing,
So
But
we did have a caddy here
we
one
did.
time.
but I've always considered this to be an asset to the community, and it's something that I think you can contribute to. It's a very noisy cart there.
Yeah.
If you can contribute to keeping this going, I think it's something that people ought to consider. So how do they do it?
Well, they can contact the club directly by phone.
Well, if they're watching this at 11 o'clock at night and they say, I want to do it right now,
The best way to do it is to contact us by email at 11 o'clock at night. ncgc80@gmail.com.
North Country Golf Club 80.
at gmail.com, and that'll go directly to our accountant / assistant manager, Leanne Valenzi, and she'll contact you immediately to set up arrangements. Or you can just stop by the club in person.
Or see any of the directors. Are you a director, John? Or
No, I'm not.
currently? But they could see you. They could mention
Absolutely.
it to
All
you. They
of
could
it, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's many. There'll be many committee people that are seeking funds for the golf course, and any of those can be seen too. And we're going to set that up shortly.
Okay. Do you have a Facebook page then, or do you
We
have a website?
We have a Facebook page that's updated daily, and we also have a website. ncgolfclub.org. That's got up-to-date news and information on everything that's going on at the golf club, including current membership applications and rates. Which I must point out that we did have at our annual meeting, we decided to allow new Canadian members to join at par, which I think is a step in the right direction to get those guests back here.
Hey, every dollar you get that you wouldn't have got otherwise.
That's correct. That's correct.
Absolutely. And our American members voted for that at the annual meeting. Was unanimous that they said yes, get them back at par.
Correct, yes.
Because the board of directors worried that, well, gee, the American members will say, gee, how come they're paying a lesser amount of money? But as you just said, that's big bucks for us.
Sure.
And
The Canadian-American partnership has been here since day one.
Don't swat that guy too hard, John. He bites.
yeah,
So,
yeah, they've been members right from the
you
start.
know, our logo has a Canadian and an American flag in it for a reason, and I think that we need to put in a huge effort in order to get our Canadian population back up there. And this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll look at it as, hey, you know, that's a heck of a nice gesture, and say, hey, Jean-Pierre, won't we?
that's
That's what we're
absolutely-
hoping. That's what we're
absolutely.
hoping. Yes.
Yeah, and if one comes, they'll bring a friend or
That's
two
correct.
friends, and it multiplies. And we could use those members.
Absolutely.
Because it's not like with your membership down to almost a third of what it was before.
Correct.
It's not like you're going to be overwhelmed with people out here golfing. That
No.
because
No,
you're getting
no.
those Canadians in at par, that they're going to take your place on the golf course.
No.
That isn't the case.
There's plenty of room.
We will warmly welcome them, and there's plenty of room to play. And we always play at about a 4-hour pace, so there's no worry about a long round.
And we might also say that Dustin and his crew, his ground crew, they've done such great work with irrigation here on the golf course, and without that, would have been even less
of
number
course,
of days that
with
we would be
all the
able to
rain.
play. Another thing that we didn't mention before, a lot of older people, they require a golf cart. And some days he can't let the golf carts go out even though the golf course is open, and they won't golf. So we lost some golf proceeds that way as well.
Because you can't let them go out because of the soggy ground.
Absolutely, they'll just ruin the course.
Too much
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah,
to
too
the
much
course.
damage would occur.
No, so people didn't quite
Mhm.
figure out why you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's because of
Usually we get to a point where the course is able to harden up to a certain extent, and even if we do get some weather, you can still drive on the course without damage. But it just never dried up this year, and never had a chance to. So, just too much concern for causing damage to the course when it was wet like this past year.
you ever considered paving it and painting it green?
We do have some of the paths are paved,
Sure.
and there are paths all around the course, but the 90-degree rule is not always met. So it's difficult for many people to walk as well as they probably could years ago. So they need a cart.
All right, so this is a fundraiser to save the North Country Golf Club. It's already over halfway to its goal,
Correct.
but that
Great.
doesn't mean that it's letting the people watching this off the hook. It's only going to exceed its goals if more people step up and see that this happens. And you
That's
will be
great.
recognized. If you want to do it anonymously, that's fine, but you will be recognized with a sign here that shows you contributed to keeping this going, and that sign will be there, I assume, as long as the golf course is here.
That's correct. That's correct.
Calvin, thank you very, very
Thank
much
you.
for,
And
Yes.
Judy, don't forget Judy.
allowing
Yes.
us, and Judy,
Thank you so
absolutely,
much,
the
you
camera
guys.
lady, for coming and getting us some exposure with this. And thank you for all you do. I mean, you keep the North Country posted on what's happening, and you do a great job. And Judy, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm gonna grab that camera. We're gonna look at a little plaque that's on the side here, and I'm gonna just scan the course, and we'll close it at that point. Thank you,
Great.
guys.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming,
Thank you.
Calvin.
Thank you.
All right, I'm looking at two gentlemen here, and with the bright sunshine, I want to make sure I can get in here and see their faces without my face reflecting in here. I see Mr. Charlie Trombley. I hope that's coming through on camera. It's easy to see here in real life. And next to there, I see Mr. Ron Roberts, two gentlemen that I knew real well, and I'm sure you knew real well too, John. It says they were husbands, fathers, grandfathers, businessmen, and great friends who truly enjoyed golf and competing against each other. This deck is donated in their memory by their families so that other people like Ron Roberts and Charlie Trombley will have a place to create and maintain lifelong friendships. Dedicated to Charlie and Ronald, July 2014. Charlie, of course, when we were growing up, outstanding race car driver at Airborne.
That's correct. You said, did you remember these fellows? Well, I remember Charlie very well going to Airborne and watching number 5 and 7/8 race around that track. And Charlie was a very, very successful driver. And Ron, Picky Roberts, played a lot of basketball against him. He graduated the same year I did from high school. And
He was from Moores.
He was from Moores Central. And
Both were from Moores.
that's right. Well, yep, that's correct. And so that's my association with the two of them. Knew them very, very well.
Yeah, and of course, Charlie, owner of K&L Plumbing and Heating.
Yep, and his son still operates it.
And Ron with Riley Ford. You notice how Dustin got there right where the camera will be hitting him in the reflection. He knows where to stand. He knew right where to get. Now, we talked about donations off camera here, and you guys are telling me about some bridges that were put in.
Yes.
Let's go here. I can see the course a little bit. Tell me about those bridges, Dustin.
Those were donated by a local businessman who's a member here. There's, let's see, 5 full-size bridges for motorized carts to go over, and approximately 6 walking bridges. And those were all donated. And I can't even imagine the cost of that donation, but a huge asset to our club. Our bridges were getting old and tired, and these new steel bridges will be here forever.
Steel. Now, I think of steel in the area. Are we allowed to mention Jefford Steel? I don't want to mention Jefford Steel unless we're allowed to do that.
Well, I think they deserve it. They've been huge contributors to this golf club for many years, and the things that they do are certainly immeasurable.
Yeah, and not only the bridges, but they've done things that we haven't even mentioned, and things that members don't even know about. And we appreciate their generosity greatly, Judy and Larry.
Absolutely.
Or Larry and Judy.
Either way, they're a team.
They're a team for sure.
I knew Judy first, so I'll go with Judy and Larry too. So anything else, gentlemen, that we should mention here? It's a beautiful day at a beautiful location. As I said, I consider this to certainly be an asset to the North Country. To you know, when you
come out and play. That's what we want. We want to show people how wonderful the course is, and just come out and play. We're here.
And talk about bare bones, yeah. Calvin. This beautiful deck that we're standing on, that was done by our local members. This building over here, which is houses our hamburger hot dog sandwich shop during the day, that's all built by members, no charge, no one got paid. So we are truly bare bones. Members come in, fix the toilets if they need fixing, or we have plumbers that are members, we have electricians that are members, and they all contribute their time and their effort to make this course continue on. And without that, we're saving a lot of money. So when people say that we're wasting money here and we don't know how to run a business, let them try to run it a little better than we're doing it. It'll be very, very difficult.
Yeah, especially with the revenues, the way your revenues have gone down.
Absolutely.
Just on the memberships alone, and then with the rainy days this year, ask a farmer about the rainy
Absolutely.
days. And I see that, is it Orva Valenzi that was
Yes.
dedicated to over there?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
Orva.
was-
That's Orva. That's Willie was a champ golfer here for many, many years. That was his wife, and
Is that
also,
Dave's family?
that's
Dave-
absolutely Dave's father. That's Dave's father, Willie Valenzi.
Okay. All right. Anything else, gentlemen, that we should know that we want to pass along to the folks that we should talk about at this time?
The course is in great shape. Come join us.
All right. Yeah, it's October 2nd. The weather holds out. How long does it go on forever?
We'll stay as long as we can. As long as we can.
All right. It's like Creamies and Shazy. They stay open as late as they can.
That's right. That's right.
So I know we're having a good year when Creamies is still open in
correct.
October. All right. We've been at the North Country Golf Club and talking to Dustin Beauregard and John Zurlo about the situation here. And again, if you'd like to contribute to keep this golf club open, just go to their Facebook page or web page, give the golf club a call, or just contact any member. I'm sure they can fill you in. So thanks for watching and supporting viewer-supported local television, hometown cable. TV we think is worthy of your support.
Spread it around. Well, you didn't tell him the phone. You gotta push it.